How can you determine what is a good amount or pace for your course content? When you're building your course out, the way that we teach it inside of our programs is that you're building it with your clients live for the first time. So you sell the offer, the opportunity, the transformation, and then you have the skeleton framework of your course created. And then when you actually start the course with your clients, that's when you're starting to walk them through your proprietary process to get them to the transformation. Get ready with me, our free coaching over coffee, one of our classes of Empower, which is our signature program, as well as have a reunion for another one of our classes of Empower. So every class gets like a big welcome call and 12 weeks of coaching and a big graduation. This is a spoon, a very cool spoon that I bent in a meditation. Now, if I were to try to bend this spoon, like no exaggeration, I literally cannot move it. I cannot bend it. But with the power of intention in my mind, I was able to bend the spoon in the middle of a meditation. This is a stainless steel spoon. And when I did the spoon bending exercise, the woman who walked us through it, about half the room wasn't able to bend their spoons. They were struggling with it. And so she had told the half of the room that hasn't bent their spoon, basically the only way that you're never gonna bend your spoon is if you stop trying. And she was saying like, so long as you continue to try and you tap into this meditation and this frequency and these intentions and you keep putting yourself out there, someday in the future, you will bend your spoon, but it's just gonna take time. And so yesterday, as our class 18 was graduating, in the chat box of the graduation, a lot of the conversation going on was basically like, I'm committing to be a spoon bender. And it's using the word yet at the end of the sentence. So like, I haven't launched yet. No one enrolled yet. And when you can use that little 3-letter word yet, you keep the control and the power within you and the trust and the knowing that it might just take time. All right, I'm coming in with the questions. How can you determine what is a good amount or pace for your course content? When you're building your course out, the way that we teach it inside of our programs is that you're building it with your clients live for the first time. So you sell the offer, the opportunity, the transformation, and then you have the skeleton framework of your course created. And then when you actually start the course with your clients, that's when you're starting to walk them through your proprietary process to get them to the transformation. So if the question is, how do you know how to pace it? My answer is ask your clients, right? The best way to know is to keep a pulse on your clients. How are they doing? What's their feedback? Are they overwhelmed? What do they need next? Sending out surveys. The first time or two that you do your course, you might want to be sending out like weekly or bi-weekly surveys. You're going to want to have that conversation with them, but also see if you can read between the lines. So sometimes they're not going to tell you everything because they either one, don't know, or two, their ego, right? They might be embarrassed. So you really need to become their advocate. And so being their advocate means that you're prompting the conversation, you're also asking the questions, but you're also just reading between the lines and you're sort of picking up the unspoken word, right? Like, why have they dropped off? Why all of a sudden are people behind? If you're using a platform like Kajabi, you have the ability to also go in and see, have people actually watch the videos, how far in the videos have they gotten? And so this is a way for you to sort of like get a pulse check or spy on the back end just to see where they're at. Now, keep in mind, it's not always going to be perfect. The information that a platform like Kajabi is going to give you, if a person ends a video, like let's say it's 10 minutes long and they shut the program down at like 9 minutes and 50 seconds, it might not mark off that they actually watched it. So it's not foolproof. And also we're not like spying on the client to like tattle on them, but you do want to know sort of where they're at. I would say if you're seeing like massive drop off, fall off, or people backing away, not showing up on calls, not asking questions, that's usually a pretty good indicator that they're overwhelmed. We as humans like to back away when we're overwhelmed. Most of us don't lean in for help. We sort of back away, which is obviously counterintuitive to what we should be doing. That's what I would say there. It's really about conversations. I heard you mention in the past you don't recommend betas. How do you recommend testing your process without a beta? I don't not like betas in the coaching industry, in the realm of creating products in the business world. I see beta as like a test. So a beta is like, we're going to test out this new product or this new offer, and we might do it for free. We might do it at a discount, right? So like, I'm going to give it to you for free or a discount, and in return, you're going to give me feedback and you're going to give me a testimonial. Beta oftentimes, especially in the coaching industry, is also something where it's like, I'm not going to give you the full program. So maybe instead of it being a 12-week program one day, the beta is like, it's only going to be a 6-week program right now because I just want to see, like, is it something that people want? So the way that I see it is betas are really tests. tests. And then the way that I also see it is that everything that you do in your business is a test. We take the approach to our business like a scientist. And what I remember from high school is that when you're a scientist, you make a hypothesis, which is a guess, right? And then you run an experiment, at which point you observe, you collect data from said experiment, you go back to your original hypothesis and you see, were you right, were you wrong? Not in like an egoic right or wrong way, not making it mean anything about you. You take the data back and you just rerun the science project again and again. The way that I approach my business is exactly that. I take items, I make hypotheses, I run experiments like launches, putting out products, offerings, asking questions on my stories, polls, doing lives, podcast episodes. We look at everything from a neutral standpoint. What is working? What is not working? And so when you take that approach to business, the idea that you're going to create a beta test of anything, in my world, it just is. Everything that you do technically starts with a beta. Anytime you do something for the first time, it is a beta. The reason I don't like teaching my clients to actually run a beta, call it a beta, is because the mind is always looking for an out when it's uncomfortable. And so when I quote unquote allow my clients to run a beta, there's a mindset shift that happens that feels like a safety net. And in my opinion and experience, that often is not great for people. But a lot of us need to move away from the comfort. So for me, the psychology that happens of someone thinking that they're running a beta and it's something that they know they can walk away from, detach from, they don't have to go all in, they're not maybe gonna charge the full price, their consumers aren't gonna treat it like a real program. I just don't like psychologically what it does to the business owner or to the consumer. So in my opinion, your first round is always a beta. I don't think you should put half effort into it. I don't think the clients should expect half effort or half result. So I just don't love the terminology beta. I don't think it's necessary for my clients to use that when they're launching something. It's not that I don't want you to. All of our clients who are graduated Power last night, they're all running their courses and coaching programs for the first time now. When our clients first launch, they might launch it at $800 and sort of get confidence and make some sales and get some testimonials. And then the second time they launch, they might bump it up to $1,200. And so there might be a place that they know they want to go. So for me, I'm just like, I don't love this idea of beta because again, I feel like it just creates an out for everybody. And I don't want you to have an out. Not that I want to hold you by the fire, but at the same time, it's like nothing changes if nothing changes. Not getting any traction after posting consistently. What's your guess on the issue? That's going to be really hard for me to answer here. So I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff out. The thing that I would look at first is not necessarily like the content, your videos, your pictures, your reels. What I would look at is the foundational elements. What is your niche? Has it changed? Can you go a little bit deeper? Have you gotten too wide? We earn our right to go wide with our niche over time. But the problem is that over time, we go so wide that we're no longer niche. Once a quarter, you want to check in with this stuff, at least twice a year. Then from there, check in with your ideal client. Do you truly know who your ideal client is and where they're at right now and what they need right now? If you didn't exercise like that 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, or 3 years ago, it might not be relevant anymore. Society changes, technology changes. Line down the middle, T-chart, pains, pleasures. Where are they now? What have they done? What are they trying? Why does it suck? Why do they want out? Like all of that. And then on this side, where do they want to go? What are their desired outcomes and goals? What would be amazing if they could rub a genie lamp together and have 3 wishes granted tonight? But again, you have to use their language. Once you have that stuff locked down, then I would say, look at your sort of baseline of what does your content look like? Is there brand identity? Or is there cohesion? I know you're saying you're consistent, but is there cohesion in the things that don't matter, like colors and font and stuff like that? Are you using hooks? Are you using call to actions? We don't want to go from hook to value. So you go from your hook to the context of why this is important. Why should they stick around to read? Why should they stick around to listen? What makes you an expert or authority? How are you going to bridge the gap between why you called them in, who it's for, and then what you're going to share with them? The meat and potatoes is going to be the tips, the value, the story. The fourth part is another one that people miss. So people miss number 2 and number 4, and this is going to be a transition out. Okay, so we don't want to just go from hook to value to CTA. We want to give a transition with context and a transition with summary context. So this transition out is now putting a bow on everything that you said, taught, gave, delivered. And then my pinky is going to be the CTA or the call to action at the very end. We want to give them something to do. We never want to use a call to action like, tell me your biggest challenge in the comments, because people don't want to bare their soul on your comments in front of your followers on the internet. It could be something more like put your favorite emoji if you agree, or tag a friend who needs this reminder, or it could be a call to action question that they have to answer, but you don't want there to be a barrier to entry on the answer. So it could be something light and fun. It could be multiple choice where you're giving them an A and a B and they just need to respond there. So that's going to be your general framework for your everyday post. If you're not a part of the Secrets to Selling on Social Media Masterclass, you can purchase that at any given moment. That is on my website. That is available everywhere. Our Secrets to Selling on Social Media Masterclass is a 2-hour workshop that I had run live with, there's about 50 or 60 people on there. I'm showing exactly how to do every single thing that you want to do on Instagram. Theories that are taught can be used across any platform, but I'm showing you every button, toggle, filters, how to do overlays, rainbow text. We're talking about captions. I hope this is helpful. If you ever need anything, I'm just a DM away. I appreciate you so much. Cheers to your evolution.